Hello there, trespassers. Welcome back to my home and welcome back to my library. As you know, you are truly welcome to trespass here because there is nothing I love more than sharing my library and my books with trespassing people that I love. So sit back and get comfortable because today's story is about my most favorite trespasser of all time. And I think when we get to the end of this story, you will all agree that we knew all along what this trespasser needed. Our story today is called The Day Dirk Yeller Came to Town by Mary Casanova. Pictures by Hoyt. And here's our title page. The Day Dirk Yeller Came to Town by Mary Casanova. Pictures by Hoyt. The day Dirk Yeller came to town, the wind curled its lip, cattle quit lowin', and tumbleweed stopped tumblin' along. Townsfolk whispered, "He starts stampedes! He holds up trains! He's trouble!" But I reckoned Dirk Yeller had come at a good time, 'cause I just hit a home run through a window. Pa always said, "Sam, you're a world of trouble and curious as a tomcat." So when Dirk Yeller tromped into the post office, I dropped my broom to follow. "I'm looking for something," the outlaw growled, "to take away my cat scratch fever." His fingers were an itchin' and a twitchin'. The postmaster backed away, but I wasn't worried. Sometimes I was fidgety too. The postmaster stammered, "Try some calming elixir from the general store." At the general store, merchandise went a-flyin'. "I'm looking for something," Dirk Yeller said, "to keep a coyote from baying at the moon." Mrs. Peterson drew her children close. "Have mercy!" But I wasn't scared. Sometimes I felt a little wild too. Why, just yesterday I dropped a toad down the back of Emma Peterson's dress. Mrs. Peterson trembled. "Try those live traps over at the trading post." I thought I'd better skedaddle too. At the trading post, rakes and shovels clattered. "I'm fixin' to find something," said Dirk, "to keep jumpin' beans from jumpin'." Like Dirk Yeller, sometimes I was jumpy too. Shorty wiped his brow. "I know nothing about jumpin' beans, but maybe you'd like a new pair of boots." Dirk Yeller shook his head. "Well then, go try the saloon." At the saloon, Dirk's fingers were a-itchin' and a-twitchin'. His eyes were train-tunnel dark. "Must be something here," he boomed, "to keep rattlesnakes from rattling." Customers darted for safety. But clear as well water, Dirk Yeller just couldn't sit still. "What you need," said Swaggering Saul, "is a nice cup of hot coffee. Go try the jailhouse." Dirk Yeller stomped out. At the jailhouse, Dirk Yeller warned, "I'm itching for something, and I won't stop until I find what I'm looking for." "We're a peace-loving folk," said the sheriff, "and I'm serving you notice. Ride your horse out of town before sundown." Dirk Yeller gulped the sheriff's coffee then left with a slam. The sheriff spotted me. Sam? I tipped my hat and scrammed. Down the boardwalk, Dirk Yeller stomped. Through dust and dung, Dirk Yeller clomped. And in the middle of the street, he stopped. I suddenly remembered what always helped me. So I gulped down my jitters and stepped into the outlaw's shadow. Dirk Yeller's eyes drilled into my backbone, but I held my ground and stood tall like a world o' trouble. Dirk Yeller, I said, if I can show you how to stop your itchin' and twitchin' and your jumpin' and rattlin', will you promise to leave our town in peace? The outlaw gave a snort, which I took to mean yes. So I said, then follow me. To my relief, glory be, Dirk Yeller tromped right after me. Inside the new building, he was itching like a dog scratching fleas. His eyes were coiled for trouble. But Miss Jenny didn't seem scared. Sweet as pecan pie, she asked, "May I help you?" "I'm looking for something," Dirk Yeller grumbled, "to take away my cat scratch fever, to keep coyotes from baying at the moon, to keep jumping beans from jumping, to keep rattlesnakes from... Come with me." Then she led the way to a tall stack of books. "This one?" she asked. "Or perhaps this?" Dirk Yeller opened a book, then started to mouth the words. I could tell he wasn't a real strong reader. When he stumbled on a hard word, his face turned red as Ma's blue ribbon tomatoes. So I whispered, "Here, Mr. Yeller, let me help." Together we sounded out word after word. Soon, Dirk Yeller was turning one page and then another. And the more the outlaw read, the less he twitched and the less he itched. The more he read, the less he jumped and jittered. Sure as shootin', Dirk Yeller was sitting still. Before long, the sun sank low, and the sheriff rattled handcuffs in warning. And then Miss Jenny called out, "Closing time!" The outlaw glared. "I'll be back!" The townsfolk froze, and I froze too. What have I been all wrong? "I'll be back," Dirk Yeller said, "to check out more books." The people cheered. And then he winked. "And to see Miss Jenny." And ever since, the library has become the busiest place in town, especially for folks with curious, restless minds, like Dirk Yeller, and me. And that's not quite the end, because if you turn the last page, there is a picture of the Cowtown Chronicle with the headline that says, Announcement, local librarian weds former outlaw. And that, my friends, my trespassing friends, is the story of my very favorite trespasser, Dirk Yeller, who learned that something that always helps people with curious and restless minds is to read a really good book. So until you join me again in my library, my trespassing friends, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.